You are now listening to the RSL Show on KSL Sports, Utah's largest sports network. Your number one source for everything Real Salt Lake. Utah's number one rated Real Salt Lake podcast.
All right, welcome in. It's a brand new edition of the RSL Show here on the KSL Sports Network. Alex Napoles, Josh Clark joining you. No Carson Lance today. Has some family things, but no worries. We're still here bringing you the latest and the greatest about Real Salt Lake. And Josh, life is better when Real Salt Lake wins.
Isn't it wild, man?
It's crazy, man. Everything, like the colors seem brighter. The sky seems clearer.
I'm less hungover the next day. Like, there's so many great things about it, you know, and it just, everything's right in the world when we get 3 points.
And it's even better when we're wrong, because we all said that they were going to lose, and it feels better knowing we were wrong.
Dude, I say this, I swear, every week. I love being wrong.
Exactly, man.
I love it because it means we won.
As far as RSL news goes, there's not too much to dive in and talk about. I mean, we hit most of it on our last show and the last recording with all the new signings, the transfer window closing, and of course, Diego Luna having his red card rescinded. And that obviously played a huge factor in this one against San Diego. So, Josh, if you don't have any major news, let's jump right into it.
Well, I mean, should we tease what's come up at the end of this episode real quick?
Not yet.
Okay.
Let's give people a chance to reel in and pay attention. How about that?
All right, fine.
Starting lineup for Real Salt Lake. Rafa Cabral in goal, of course. Bodie Hidalgo. Brian Vera. No Justin Glad. He's dealing with a hamstring, and so
it was an adductor.
Maybe one of
Either
the two.
way, muscle strain.
Yes. Philip Quinton gets the start over Justin Glad in this one. Alex Catranis at the left back position. In the midfield, unchanged. Emeka Anelli and Brian Ojeda get the start. Xavier Gozo, we'll talk about him, but he got his first start as a member of Real Salt Lake. Diego Luna, Diogo Gonçalves, and Ari Peel starting up top for Real Salt Lake. Not a bad lineup considering Dominic Marchuk is out and Justin Glad is out.
Yeah, I mean, overall, decent lineup. Really excited to see Gozo get a start, right? I think we've all been clamoring for that a bit. And, you know, even seeing Philip Quinton slot in, not as nerve-wracking as it used to be. And, you know, I'm going to give him props. I think he performed well. So, pretty strong RSL side going into this one.
As far as the performance goes, I thought that Real Salt Lake, I mean, we talked about it towards the end of the last episode, Josh. This was a San Diego team who's very good at pressing, who's very good, who's going to tire you out and really bring the game to you. And I thought Real Salt Lake handled it a lot better in this one than they did in the game here at America First Field.
Absolutely. I'd say after the first 20-ish minutes, especially after Vera got, you know, knocked unconscious, I feel like we figured out how to stop San Diego from hitting us with the high press and then a quick over-the-top ball. Because that's what they beat us with at home, was just that over-the-top ball off a turnover on the high press. And that absolutely murdered us. And it was looking like that was going to happen again. But, you know, we were able to kind of figure out how to stifle that. And that really kind of changed the tide of the game for me. But, Alex, I will say this. It's kind of something, you know, I was thinking about. I don't know that this RSL performance was any better than the last few, right? Hear me out. The only big difference for me is that we converted our chances.
That's a good way to look at it.
Right? Because I feel like we played well in so many of these losses,
right,
but we're not finishing our chances. Right? This game shows what RSL can do because we've been doing the little things fairly well, but not finishing was killing us, right? I know that feels like a stupid take. You know, of course, if you finish your chances, you win the game. But
how do you win soccer games, Josh?
Just performance-wise, right? It didn't feel like we played any better.
Right. No, and I get what you mean.
We just scored goals, and you know that's all the difference. It's tails all the time.
I will say to kind of not to argue it, but to just kind of, I guess, kind of expand on it a little bit. I do think the Toronto performance was a little bit more poor right? I do think that there was a certain step up from the Toronto performance last week to what we saw against San Diego. But you go back to that Nashville game. Yeah, you go back to that Nashville game, and I would say that the Nashville performance, similarly to what we saw in San Diego, except in Nashville, you didn't convert the chances you had, whereas in San Diego, you did.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it.
Yep.
The first major event that happens in this game, of course, is Brian Vera. Very scary, very nasty collision with Rafa Cabral. In that situation, there's not much Cabral can do at that point. It's either Cabral comes out and clears the ball away, or Brian Vera was about to get beat by the San Diego attacker. And so if he would have left it for Cabral, it would have probably ended up bad for Real Salt Lake in the sense that they would have had a good chance to score. Yeah,
it's just a very dangerous ball into a very dangerous space because as a center back and as a goaltender, this isn't hockey, as a goalkeeper, it's right in that no man's land.
Yes.
Right? It is unfortunate that there was a collision. Essentially, we traded a concussion for not conceding a goal, which is never great, but yeah, that just unfortunate situation. And we all hope Vera's doing great. And I'm glad he's, not hospitalized or anything. So that's great news.
Yes, absolutely. Him posting on his Instagram after the game with a thumbs up on his Instagram, on his story, and saying, "I'm good." That gives you a little bit more, I guess, it relaxes you a little bit because it is a scary collision, and we hope Vera a speedy recovery. Most likely, Vera will be out with that concussion this upcoming weekend, and again, we just hope the best for him, man.
If he plays against Vancouver, I've got major questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Other than that, though, I think it's a first half, like you mentioned, Josh, where San Diego had their foot on the gas, but Real Salt Lake did well defensively, even without Justin Glad and even without Brian Vera. I thought Philip Quinton, like you mentioned, came in and played a shift, and I mean, not surprisingly, but Sam Junka came in and he played very well as well.
I prefer Sam Junka at center back.
Yes.
I really do.
I would agree.
Yeah.
We've seen him sub in at the left back position. We've seen him start at the left back position a couple times, and I think, just from seeing this game from Junka at him at center back, I thought was a lot better than what we've seen at that left back position.
Absolutely, and it's hard because we do ask that left back
to do a lot.
We ask a lot of them, right?
Oh yeah.
So it is kind of unfair expectations on him a little bit, but we really love Catranis and what Catranis does, and if you're not pulling that same weight, you really can tell moving forward with the team offensively that there's something missing.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
So, he's a tidy player. I just really prefer him at center back.
And depending on what, happens with Glad and depending on what, happens with Vera, there's a very big possibility that we get a PQ and Junka partnership to start against Vancouver. But we'll get into that here momentarily.
Yeah, but yes, that's probably exactly what we're looking at.
And then, Real Salt Lake ends up starting the press of their own. And in the 45th minute, Diego Luna does a really good job to pounce on a ball, a loose ball from San Diego, ends up stealing possession in the attacking third, is able to take it all by himself in between two defenders and curls one into that far side corner. And it's 1-0 Real Salt Lake. And we're all happy.
Absolute banger, buddy.
Phenomenal.
It was so good.
Phenomenal.
That quick release between the two defenders, bro. Just art. There's art.
It really is because, if you look at it, the two defenders are closing in on him, and that space is very limited. If you wait that ball another 3-4 seconds, you miss out on that opportunity because that space, that window in between the two center backs closes, and it's a block.
Bro, it's like Indiana Jones trying to escape the giant rolling ball.
There you go, man.
You know what I mean? It's
absolutely.
You had to shoot now. Perfect timing. It is beautiful.
Phenomenal goal from Diego Luna and puts Real Salt Lake up 1-0. But then moments later, did it seem like the referee was kind of watching Alex Catranis all night? Because it kind of seemed like the ref was watching Alex Catranis all night.
Yeah, it kind of felt like, hey, we won't fine you, buddy, but we're going to get you.
You breathe on this guy? Foul. You look at this guy, foul. And that's kind of what happened all night to Alex Catranis. He gets a yellow card earlier, and then off this corner kick for San Diego, ends up. I don't even want to say he ends up bringing Anibal Godoy down in the box because he really doesn't.
He doesn't.
Godoy just makes an absolute meal out of it. It's a clear dive for me, and in return, Real Salt Lake get called a penalty against them just moments after going up 1-0.
And of course, every single person watching the game, here we go again.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I thought that, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
We'll move past it, though, because I think there's some other questionable refereeing decisions we can discuss.
Soft penalty. Chucky Lozano converts it. It's 1-1 as you head to the halftime break. Coming out in the second half, you get a shot from Brian Ojeda, who's recycling a little bit of a missed opportunity inside the box. Ojeda hits it, comes off the arm of a San Diego player, and the play continues for, I swear, Josh, like 5 minutes.
You know what the best part of the play continuing?
What's that?
It wasn't super noticeable, right, watching it on TV. Like, I didn't really notice it at first. Like, it looked kind of funny. But you could just hear Pablo in the audio
dude.
losing his mind. And that was my favorite part of this.
They had that field mic a little too close to Mastroeni this game. Because
they really did.
I mean, usually like you can hear him, but in this game you heard him loud and clear, man.
For the entire game. He was not happy the entire game.
And I understand why you wait as long to stop the play. But it just seems like it took forever. Right at this point, the ball's down on the other side of the field. Real Salt Lake's about to go on another attack, and then you stop the play to finally go look at the handball, review it, and ultimately it's a penalty for Real Salt Lake. Good to have a VAR decision go in Real Salt Lake's favor, man.
It was nice because, not gonna lie to you, I was like, "There's no way he's calling this a handball, right?"
Right.
And it clearly was, right? I know he's protecting his face, but that ball changes direction wildly after it comes off of his hand. I did think the view they picked for the VAR review, like from behind Ojeda, I thought that was odd because in some of the other angles they were showing before VAR, you could clearly see him put his hand up and like kind of push the ball away.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of weird, but the right decision at the end of the day, clearly, because it went our way. And yeah, I think that's the little stroke of luck I think we might have needed to find a result.
Just finally having a decision go our way, man. It seems like we talked about it last week. It seemed like a decision, it seemed like decisions that the referee was making, especially at the VAR, just wasn't going Real Salt Lake's way. So it's nice to finally get one, and one that's deserved, right? It's Absolutely. It's a clear hand ball. And Real Salt Lake, who else steps up but Diego Luna, who's already had one, steps up, makes it 2, and Real Salt Lake's up 2-1 in the 53rd minute at San Diego.
Oh, yeah. And you could tell Diego was feeling it, man. That was such a nonchalant, relaxed, professional penalty kick.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It wasn't like he was trying to show off and do a Panenka or anything, but no, he got the goalkeeper moving one way and just popped it into the net. No crazy, power to it or placement, just professional. And I loved everything.
100%. A couple minutes later, while Real Salt Lake's up 2-1, again, man, how many times are we going to talk about Rafa Cabral coming in and making just huge saves and making huge plays to keep Real Salt Lake either in a game, to keep them up, or whatever the deal is, but Rafa Cabral comes up with a big save on a San Diego attack, and Rafa Cabral, man, the best keeper since Nick Raimondo.
By far.
Oh, yeah.
By far.
Oh, yeah.
He's incredible, and I'm kind of sad we got him at his age, right? Like, we may have, the rest of the season, another season with him, but not forever. So I'm really trying to just enjoy Rafa Cabral right now because he's putting in some performances. And I'll tell you what, I really question where we would be in this table. I know it's not great right now. It's sitting in 10th. But without Rafa Cabral's performances,
how much worse could it be?
How much worse could it be, or would it be?
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So he's been an absolute stalwart back there. He's been a brick wall. And he's kept us competitive when we really had no business being competitive. So this turned out to be an excellent, excellent signing.
So far, the best one of this winter window, man. By far.
Absolutely.
By far. A couple minutes later, Real Salt Lake's on the front foot again, heading down the other way on another attack. Ball played into Luna from Diogo, who we haven't really talked about much yet, but we'll get to him.
There's nothing to talk about.
Diogo, and then Luna brings it down, and then ball ends up trickling out to Catranis. Catranis tries to recycle it. A bad clearance from San Diego. Sam Junca at the top of the 18, all by himself, left-footed rocket into that bottom right corner. And who would have thought, man? Sam Junca with a golazo to put Real Salt Lake up 3-1.
Who would have thought he was going to channel his inner Vera?
Exactly.
You know?
he took the subbing in for Vera real serious, man.
He did. Good on him. Happy to see him get on the score sheet. Love a beautiful goal. Unexpected goal, right? Those aren't goals those are the goals that happen and you're like, oh, that just happened. It was a nice little bit of icing on the cake, I think, for Real Salt Lake.
And good to see RSL kind of keep their foot on the gas and look for more.
Yeah, we didn't see all right, let's sit back and absorb and hold on for the result, right? We've talked about it ad nauseum. That's not the way to win anymore. You can't give good teams space and opportunity. You have to just take it to them.
I think Real Salt Lake and the coaching staff really smelled blood in the water at that point, man. You're up 3-1. San Diego really doesn't have that many answers to stop you offensively. So there's a little bit of that smelling blood in the water type deal, and Real Salt Lake kept their foot on the gas, and you love to see it, man, because there were so many more opportunities even after Junca scored. Despite it being the last goal, there were still a lot more opportunities for Real Salt Lake in this one, and not much going the other way for San Diego. And I think that's something incredibly positive that stuck out to me.
Absolutely. This Real team, they really need to kind of develop a ruthlessness to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe this is the start of that. I hope to see more of it. But yeah, it's very refreshing to see us just continue to press, continue to create opportunity, and continue to be dangerous.
Last thing of note in this match I want to bring up, 95th minute, Buddy Hidalgo getting ready to take a throw-in, ends up throwing the ball back down on the ground to let someone else take the throw-in. Time wasting, of course. And I think for the first time ever that I've seen, a second yellow card is issued for time wasting.
It's ridiculous, dude.
Look.
Sure, it's a valid yellow, I guess. But how petty are you as a referee to be throwing a yellow for that?
I've just never seen it, man.
And I don't feel like he had it that long.
I don't either. Yeah, I don't either. I don't feel like he really wasted that much time.
And when you point out a different play and you're like, hey, come take this. Like, come on. You're really going to kick a kid out of the game for that?
Right. We gave a lot of shtick last week to Sergi against the referee against that Toronto game against Real Salt Lake. But one of the things that he did do right was he gave a early yellow to Sean Johnson for time wasting.
Yeah, set the tone early. Don't wait till the end.
Right. But I bring that up because, I mean, in that case, Sean Johnson, I feel like, wasted a lot more time than Bodie Hidalgo did in this instance. So, I mean, Sean Johnson should have been sent off, right?
Right. Because he did it more than once.
Exactly.
For me, in these time-wasting instances, not having an exact time, or like it's just a feeling when the referee feels like it's taking too long, that's kind of what bothers me about it. You know what I mean? There's no, as a player, it's like, okay, how long can I get away with this before he freaks out? And Bodie obviously should have been trying that on a yellow already. That was silly. But kind of a petty thing to give a kid a red card for. But whatever.
I just think that if we're going to start doing these time-wasting yellow cards, if we're going to start doing this, it needs to just be more consistent. right?
How can it be consistent, though, when you're going off a feeling?
Sean Johnson shouldn't take 20 seconds to take a goal kick.
Neither should Cabral.
Neither should. That's what I'm saying.
Cabral's great at time wasting.
Yes.
But that's the frustration, is you don't know what your limit is.
But it's also nice when it happens. It's nice when you're able to do it. It's not nice when it happens to you. And I think that's also one of these situations here with Bodie.
Absolutely. Because everyone hates it when we're chasing a game and everyone's cramping up and changing the ball out.
That's when the bluebirds come out at the stadium, man.
Yeah, I get it. But like you said, consistency. Tell us how long we have before you start throwing yellow cards, right? And again, not excusing Bodie at all. He's on a yellow already. He should be more cautious. It sucks. I have no idea who's going to play right back on Saturday now.
I don't either.
But I digress, right? So it is what it is. It is what it is. And honestly, is it a Real game this year without a red card or a penalty? Like, really?
That's true. It seems like every game there's something, man. There's something happening. And so 95th minute rolls around. We needed our red card, and there you go. You get a red card.
Yeah, but hey, we're real good at playing with 10 men. We're Real good at it.
In the end, Real Salt Lake hold on. End up winning this game 3-1, bringing back 3 points to Sandy after a 3-1 win over San Diego. In turn, Real Salt Lake now sitting in 10th place of the Western Conference with 12 points. Vancouver still at the top with 23 points. We'll get to that here in a moment. Portland with 18 points in third. Boston with 16. Fourth, Minnesota with 16. We jump down towards the bottom of the table. You have San Jose in 11th with 10. St. Louis City in 12th with 10. 13th, Houston with 10. Sporting Kansas City in 14th with 7. And in 15th and final place, the LA Galaxy, still yet to win a game with 3 points on the season.
Sucks for them.
Crazy, man.
Okay, Vancouver, buddy. Hear me out. Is this a trap game for Vancouver?
It very well could be.
Hear me out. RSL just built a lot of confidence against a San Diego team, right?
Who was also sitting near the top of the table.
Yeah, they're decent, right? Vancouver's played a lot of matches leading into this. RSL is going to have to do some reshuffling in the back line. Kind of an unknown. Vancouver's going to be confident against this RSL side. I think this just may be a trap game, Alex. I'm not saying we're going to win, but it's got the makings of it. This Vancouver game could be where they start to fall off the top and we start to climb up, buddy. Just saying.
I like the optimism. I like the positive thinking.
The timing is feeling right.
But I'm gonna throw a wrench in all this.
Yeah, Damir Kreilach. No, just kidding.
No, I'm gonna go with they play a very, very important game on Wednesday.
Yeah, they're gonna be rotating, buddy.
But they were rotated against Minnesota.
But if they win that game against Wednesday, they got to get ready for a final. They got to be fit.
See, here's the thing, and I think this is not something I thought I was going to be saying at the beginning of the season, and it's the fact that Vancouver came out rotated against Minnesota, who both were sitting at the top of the table. Both are the two best teams in the Western Conference at this moment. They're rotated. None of their major stars, major players are coming out and playing this game against Minnesota, and yet they take it to Minnesota 3-1, man.
I'm not saying it'll be easy.
I don't know how or where this step came from, but Vancouver's all of a sudden a very deep and a very good team.
They're a very confident team.
And they are very confident right now.
And I think they're more confident than they are good. Right? This wave, hear me out, this wave that they're riding right now, by the end of the season, I don't see that wave continuing.
Are you talking? So you're talking like a similar RSL crash where they hit the summer and they start kind of falling off?
Maybe not as bad, but unless they have like the most magical team to ever come to MLS, right? I just don't see this lasting.
And I can see where you're coming from.
They're a couple injuries, a couple suspensions even, and the wheels could fall off of this.
I mean, we've talked about it before in the past, right? Ryan Gold, the second he goes down, it's a completely different team, but they've been doing all this without Gold. They're figuring out how to win and play good soccer without their best player.
Right. But, we're getting farther along into the season. Just like with Real Salt Lake, teams start to figure them out.
Yeah.
So are they adaptable? Can the guys picking up Gold's slack continue to pick up his slack? There's a lot of questions. Like I said, unless this is the most magical team in MLS in the last 5 years, I don't see it,
I'm
maintaining through the entire season. I want it to,
exactly.
And I hope by the end of the year, someone comes back and makes fun of me for this. But I'm telling you, I don't see it, and I think RSL has the potential to hand them their first loss on Saturday. I really do. Johnny Russell off the bench, boom, boom. Demir own goal, boom.
Demir own goal. When's the last time Demir actually played for Vancouver?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I don't know.
He's not hurt, but he's definitely taken a.
I mean, he's 37 now?
Yeah, he's taken a very big backseat in this Vancouver system. But regardless, I think one of two things is going to happen.
We're going to win or lose.
We're going to win or lose, absolutely. But I think this is a Vancouver side who have a much bigger fish to fry in a Wednesday game against Inter Miami. They're going cross country, right? You have to go all the way from Vancouver to Miami to play this game.
Cross continent.
Yeah, there you go, man. Cross continent to freaking play this game. And if they beat Miami, they'll either be on a really, really crazy high and beat Real Salt Lake, or they're going to come down to earth and kind of take I wouldn't necessarily call it taking a weekend off, but they're going to take a weekend off. And Real Salt Lake could take advantage of that.
I think, however the result goes for them on Wednesday, it's a trap game because they're not going to be hyper-focused on Saturday.
Yeah.
I really do. Listen, I feel like I'm 90% on trap games. And I just have this feeling that I hope I'm right. Usually I hope I'm wrong. But I hope I'm right. But obviously, like I said, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I would not be shocked if this turns out to be one of those instances.
They're getting Vancouver at a really good time.
Exactly.
Very good time, because you just had last Wednesday, you played in Vancouver against Miami, then you traveled to Minnesota. I'm not sure if they traveled back and then to Miami, or if they just went straight to Miami from Minnesota, but regardless, you're still flying across a bunch of different time zones to get to Miami.
You're sleeping in hotels.
Yeah, man.
You're not in your normal groove. It makes a difference.
I'm feeling good. Truthfully, I'm feeling good. I know Vancouver is the best team right now in Major League Soccer. But again, just everything that we've been talking about, Josh, you've convinced me, man. You've talked me into it. This is a good game for Real Salt Lake.
And hear me out. If we lose, we lost to the best team in Major League Soccer.
I wouldn't even be upset about it.
Right? If we win, let's go. Right? Hell, if we get a draw, excellent. If
you can go to Vancouver and get a draw against this team, I think that'll boost your confidence up a lot. If you're Real Salt Lake, if you're a young Real Salt Lake, you walk out of there with 3 points. It's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, you'd want to talk about confidence, especially if the young guys get on the board. Willie Agata gets on the board. Diogo decides to do something. Who knows, right?
This could be it.
Could be it.
Real quick before we get to some fun stuff, Xavier Gozo, man.
Dude, excellent performance. That was an excellent performance from him. Created some chances. The work rate was great. He's getting back defensively. Very happy with what I saw out of Gozo.
I thought he played phenomenal, and I'm going to compare him a little bit to Barea, who last week came in and didn't have the best of performances. And Gozo, who's an 18-year-old coming in for his first MLS start, came in and he looked the part, man.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing with a lot more confidence. And that's something incredibly positive and something that you want to see from an 18-year-old who's coming and getting his opportunity, because like we were mentioning it last week, him starting this game again says to me, Tyler Wolff isn't there.
No.
Lachlan Brook isn't there. So let's give Gozo this opportunity.
And to be completely honest with you, I want the homegrowns, if they're ready at that point, to get that opportunity over guys we've signed from elsewhere.
Yeah.
Selfishly, right? Because I want our homegrowns to succeed, right? For the club to show off a little bit, right? These are our guys, especially with him being a Utah native. That makes it even more special. So
100%.
Yeah, I hope, obviously Dominic will be back eventually, but I hope Gozo continues to push to be the first guy off the bench, or hell, take over the starting spot. If he can, just go on this skyrocketing trajectory and surpass him, that would be absolutely incredible.
Well, Gozo's been on a slump, or not Gozo. Martin's been on a slump, man.
Yeah, he hasn't been great. So
if Gozo can come in and provide more than Dominic's providing, why not allow him to start, man?
Exactly.
Early returns from Willie Agata.
There was one kind of decent-ish opportunity that was just sent into the San Diego Bay, sent to Tijuana, essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get you.
But, I mean, otherwise, he looked more comfortable on the field than Piol, which is kind of concerning, considering that's the first time he's played with that group. I think the sample size, way too small, right? But not a bad run.
I couldn't really get a good read on him either yet. I'm assuming he'll have more playing time against Vancouver this weekend. So I'm all for it. I want to see him out there so I can really get a good feel for what Agata really brings. However, Ari Piol, since scoring that goal against who was it? San Diego. Since scoring that goal against San Diego,
he's looked very lost, my guy.
He's looked really lost. Yeah, he had a good debut, had a good couple of games, and then I think that red card, whatever good positive vibes Piol was bringing, I think that red card kind of took the wind out of his sails, unfortunately.
Yeah, you could definitely see him kind of crowding other players at times, and I don't think he was doing it, totally inadvertently. There was no purposeful action behind that, but yeah, just felt like he was a little off, right? Like he just wasn't quite ready for that stage at that point.
And then you have Forster Ajago, who's loaned out to Lexington, so he's off roster.
Bye.
How quick was that, man?
About as quick as I expected, to be honest.
Failed experiment by the front office. Are we there yet?
How long to realistically give him before it's a failed experiment, though?
See, that's the thing is, it just seems very quick. But I get it.
He was sent down to the Monarchs 5 games into the season?
Yeah, man.
So clearly he wasn't showing it on the training pitch. We weren't seeing it in matches. He bagged a couple goals, but other than that, it's been real quiet. So again, listen, not the right player for RSL at the right time. I hope he goes to the USL with this Lexington club. Lexington, right?
Yeah.
What's their name?
That's a great question.
I'm stuck. I'm stuck on Charleston Battery, but obviously it's not the Lexington Battery. Anyway, I hope he goes there and bangs in some goals and has himself a season.
Oh, it's just Lexington SC.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah, it's like.
But yeah, get after it. Enjoy your soccer. And I hope we can find some more answers because that was not it. You know what else isn't the answer?
What's that?
Diogo Gonçalves.
Heyo.
So bad, dude.
I'll give him a little bit of pass this week. You win, you get 3 points. Made a couple of good passes, but
yeah, he had some brighter moments in this match. There was one in the second half that really drove me nuts. And I can't remember the exact build-up, but the ball came up from the left side, gets into the 18. They drop the ball back to where Diogo was. And instead of, taking a touch, being aware of his surroundings, whatever, he kind of just like lets it roll by, thinking someone's going to, run up and hit a laser beam.
That's the biggest, yes.
And in my head, I'm like, you are the creative guy. You should be aware of where players are.
Right.
You had space in the box. What are we doing?
That's one of my biggest problems with him. I love dummy passes. Right.
They're great when they work, but in this situation, there was no one around, and he had to know that.
Right. I love the dummy passes. I love heel flicks. I love, getting creative to confuse the opponent. But it just seems like when he does it, he's just not aware of his surroundings. He assumes that the player is, running in behind. He assumes that the guy coming in is going to be exactly where he wants it, and doesn't really have that awareness to realize that, oh, my guy isn't running there. He's running over here.
And he had space for a one-timer or to collect the ball and maybe draw a penalty or maintain possession until, the team catches up with you. That was the one moment in this game that really just like stood on the rooftop and screamed at me like, what is going on here? Like, you got to do better, man. You're the DP. That ball was teed up for you to do something special, and you stepped aside. It wasn't even a good dummy. It's not like he ran up to it and it went between his legs. He just kind of got out of the way. It bothered me.
Yeah.
Bothered.
I guess the best way I can put it is I just want him to be more involved.
Right. If he, I feel like we've talked about this a few times, but if he just seemed interested, period.
Right.
I don't know. And, the other weekend, Pablo was talking about how he wants his nines to play. Prime example right there.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Prime example. Nothing doing.
All right, we want to take this time to bring you guys something fun and something special. We told you guys that we would try to spice things up a little bit, if you will. And so joining us now on the RSL show, we have none other than former Sporting Kansas City winger and former Sporting Kansas City captain, Johnny Russell, joining the RSL show. Johnny Russell, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me.
The first question we have to ask right off the bat. The rivalry, right? You go from Sporting Kansas City, Real Salt Lake, longtime rivals. Now you're here. What's your take and what's your view on the rivalry?
I feel like the start of the rivalry was obviously before I got to the league. But then when I joined, you could definitely feel it. You could feel the history of the games. There was still some guys I played with and some guys still here who were part of that, so you could feel it, you understood it, and yeah, I feel like it continued throughout my time in Kansas as well. So I'm very aware of what went on before and what sort of continues to be the rivalry.
So now that you're here with the Real Salt Lake, and now that you're going to be a part of this team, right? Is it difficult going from one team to the other side of the rivalry, or I guess what's your feelings on just moving over now to Real Salt Lake?
No, I wouldn't say it's difficult. I made it very clear that my intentions were to stay in Kansas. I wanted to stay at Sporting, and they didn't want that. They wanted to go a different way. So they wanted to move on, and I have to move on as well. I still felt that I had too much to give to just call it there. And yeah, it's a new opportunity. It's a fresh start. It's kind of different to what I've been used to in terms of my role in the team. But I've said earlier that it's an exciting young team that I'm very happy to be a part of and try and help them and guide them just with my knowledge of the league and my experience throughout my playing career. I understand that, I'm towards the end of my career, even though I still feel, I've still got a lot left compared to the guys that I'm going to be playing with who are, a lot of them are just sort of fresh in the door. So I'm excited for that part of it, that challenge. It's a part of my job as a captain that I actually really enjoyed in Kansas. And although I'm not captain here, it's still something I feel that I can help and be that sort of leader within the group as well. I think that's one of the main reasons I've been brought here to impart some of that experience and leadership on a really exciting young team, but a team that doesn't have a huge deal of experience.
Who's the one player for RSL right now that you're really looking forward to playing with?
I think the easy answer is Luna. I think obviously being an attacking player and obviously watching him come in the league and how he's adapted so quickly, how much he's progressed in a short period of time. I think he's a really exciting player, one that didn't enjoy playing against, but could always appreciate when you watch him. And now we've got on really well so far, so hopefully that translates to the field as well. But yeah, he's probably the standout guy that if you were to ask a lot of people, they would probably say him. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to link up with him, and he's another one. He doesn't need help the way he's playing right now, but if there's anything I can do to help him on and off the field, then it's guys like that I'm here to help.
So how exactly are those conversations like behind the scenes, right? When you meet with the front office, when you meet with the head coach, and they say and they want you to come in and help and bring your experience, is that what about that entices you to make that decision to come here and be that veteran, bring that veteran experience and be that veteran leader?
I mean, the main thing really was continuing playing. That was obviously the first and foremost. I didn't want to just come here and be this bit part player, and that was the conversations, and I know that, and I do not expect to just walk into the team because I've played in the league and what I've done. I know I have to earn my spot, but that's good for the team in general. If I'm pushing the guys in front of me, and if they're continuing to play in front of me, then that's best for the team because they're playing at a high standard. I know what I can bring to the team, whether that's starting games, off the bench. It's a really exciting time for me, obviously, and I'm trying to get there as quick as possible so I can get out there and help. And then obviously the one of the big points for them was because it's such a young team, the lack of experience in the league, just sort of been brought in to be a little bit of a guide and a mentor to some of those younger guys, and just try and help them understand what this league takes, physically, mentally, how to go about your job as being a pro. So that was a role that I really enjoyed doing in Kansas. I'm lucky that I'm able to continue to do that and sort of help the next generation of guys coming through as well.
You scored many goals for Sporting Kansas City, and it felt like anytime you played against us, you were also on the score sheet. It kind of became a joke around here, but what's your favorite goal you've scored in MLS play?
Probably I scored 2 in 18 against Galaxy, home and away. Both very similar goals off the dribble, but I would probably say the one at home because it's what clinched the playoffs for us in my first season at Kansas. So I'd probably say that. I've been lucky enough to score, plenty of times there. But that one, if I was to pick anyone, that one sticks out more than the others.
How about a favorite goal against Real Salt Lake? Any of those particularly stick out to you?
You're setting me up here. I can't remember what year it was, but I'm sure I scored a free kick, bent it to the far post, and it's always nice to score free kicks. And I've been, well, I don't know to say lucky now, but I've scored a couple of times here, and been on the receiving end of a little bit of stick after it. So I mean, they were always fun. But if I could pick one, it'd probably be the free kick, just because it was the free kick goal.
If I remember right, it was quite a beautiful goal. So
Appreciate
props. Yeah.
Which actually brings me to my next question is, I mean, obviously you haven't really trained too much with the team yet, but has there been conversations, knowing that you have that experience at the free kicks, has there been conversations already about you potentially taking free kicks?
We haven't got to that yet. I know there's a little pecking order here, so I'll need to fight my way in. But I mean, you do that in the training sessions. If I show that what I'm capable of from those sort of positions, then I'm sure I'll be in the conversation. But I'm not going to come in right away and start demanding that I take them. So we've got a lot of guys here who are very, very capable from those sort of positions. So we'll see how it goes. But I know if I'm in there and I'm called upon, then I've got the ability to produce something.
We all know you're a professional soccer player, so we know what you do for a living. What do you do when you're not on the field? What are your interests?
I mean, a lot of my time is taken up by my kids. I think most parents will understand that. I've got 3 kids, so there's not much time in the day that I do get to myself, and obviously taking them to their hobbies and just spending time with them is a huge part of not just my day, but my life. If I do get the opportunity to go and do something on my own or with people, it'd be golf. Huge fan of golf. I like to play as often as I can. Having 3 kids, I don't get to play as often as I can. But that's something that I'm definitely excited about, and a few of the guys already have already mentioned that they've got a little golf group going. So I'm in the process of getting my stuff shipped here, and my golf clubs are in there. So hopefully not too far away. I'll be out, and some of the courses here look beautiful. So I'm excited to get out there.
Absolutely, man. There's a lot of good golfing places here in the state of Utah. So when you come in now, you know, like we all know you came from Sporting Kansas City, but you come in, there's a lot of guys who have been with this team for a really long time. How are those conversations like when you hit the training ground and now you're part of the team, specifically with a guy like Justin Glad, who's been here forever and has played against you multiple times, defended against you multiple times? What are those conversations like?
I think that helps when you come in. Obviously, I don't know them on a personal level, but when you play against someone that much, you get that common, respect where you know each other. So in a way, it is familiar when you come into the building and you see those guys, and like those guys are the first to come and welcome you and try and integrate you as quick as possible. And yeah, I'm sure the more the days go on, like some stories will come out and some memories will come out. So I'm looking forward to those talks. But I mean, there's a lot of guys here who are new to the team, new to the league, who haven't played against me or maybe haven't seen me play. So that's exciting as well. I'm sure, like I said, those talks will come up eventually, but we're on the same side now, so hopefully we can produce some of the same sort of memories together.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, Real Salt Lake is a club, right? A lot of our legends are ex rival players, right? Even Pablo is an ex Colorado Rapids player, so you'll be welcomed eventually.
Eventually,
I appreciate that.
No, we're happy to have you here. I just had to make myself feel better. I had to throw it in there,
No, I trust me, I get it. I understand that not everyone's going to be receptive to it, but I'm sure when they see me out there and what I give for the team and what I can produce, and hopefully it changes opinion, but I get it.
Yeah, no, you'll be very welcomed here, especially after you get on the field and people see you. It will take no time. So we welcome you here, Johnny.
I
We're
appreciate
happy
it.
to have you. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And then also outside of soccer, it sounds like you have a pretty big affection for muscle cars. And you were talking about an orange Camaro.
Yeah, it's the 50-year anniversary Hot Wheel car. So the orange with the black stripes down the front. So that was the very first thing I bought when I moved to the US. I still have it. It's stored away for I mean, I'm not going to say a rainy day because I don't use it in that, but it's because it's such a iconic car. I kind of want to keep it good for as long as I can, so it doesn't get the use that it used to when I first got it. But it's I love it.
You looking at
Any other muscle cars on your list that you want to get?
I'm a big fan of sort of 60s, 70s muscle cars. You know, the Mustangs from that era. But I'm not sure. I don't know if I can justify or get away with having a second muscle car. But we'll see. We'll see what the future holds.
They don't end up fitting the kids too well, do they?
No, they don't. I mean, the kids love it, but it's a very, very tight squeeze, especially now that they're getting a little bit older.
Josh, anything else you want to add ask before we let Johnny go, man?
No, just again, thanks for your time, man. We're happy to have you here. Wow, edit that out, Alex. Just the last thing, any message you have, for RSL fans and even SKC fans that are sad to see you go and join their rival?
Yeah, I mean, I think SKC fans all know how much I love being there, how much I love playing for them, and honestly, I didn't want to leave there. I wanted to stay there, whether it was just for this year or another year after that. I made it very clear and vocal that I wanted to finish my career there. And from day one, they were so supportive and receptive of me. And honestly, the way they've treated me there has been exceptional. And then just now that it's both parties have moved on, and I'm just really excited to be here. I understand the rivalry, and a lot of people won't appreciate this move right now, but that's up to me to change that opinion. I'm sure, like I said earlier, when I get on the field, they see what I'm about, they see what I give for my team, for my teammates, for them, and what I can produce as well. I'm sure, and I'm hoping that changes. And I'm a fierce competitor. I'm a winner. I'm here to win, and I'm here to help the team on the way to do that. So I'm sure they'll see all those things. I think people who have watched the league enough as well will have seen that and will appreciate that on their side. So I'm just really excited to get going, joining at a good team, and at a good time as well, where things are starting to turn, and you're starting to see, the more the games have went on, the more experience the guys are gaining. You can see it in the last game there, how well they defended. A lot of times they had to bunker in, didn't have the ball at times, but you can see that experience coming where in previous games where they'd maybe lose a goal or lose the lead, you can start to see that coming now. So no, I can't wait to get going. Can't wait to get out there. I know it's a couple of weeks before I get to play at home, but I'm looking forward to it.
Same. Thank you again, man. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you. How are you feeling, real quick, before we let you go? How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling coming into? I mean, obviously, it's been a minute since you've last played a full. You played in a soccer match. So how are you feeling physically, and how are you looking heading into this weekend as the team travels to Vancouver, who's at the top of the table?
Yeah, I mean it's another exciting one. San Diego hadn't lost at home. We handed the first one. Vancouver haven't lost, so we're hoping to hand them the first defeat as well. So I'm in a good spot. I looked after myself, really well in the off season, which I always do. A little bit of an extended off season, but I've been in the gym working, 5-6 times a week. I've been running the same as well. So I've kept a very good level of fitness. I understand it's completely different to going and playing 90 minutes of a game. I'm not daft to think that I could go and do that at Saturday, but the trained a couple of days now, done a lot of fitness stuff, and everyone's happy with where I'm at. So hopefully the week progresses and continues the way it has. Then I'm hoping that I'll be available, for selection. So that's the plan. But I think we're all just being a little bit cautious because, like you said, it's been a minute. October was the last time I played a game, so I understand that there's a bit of time there, and they want to do their checks and make sure everything's okay, and I appreciate that as well.
Well, there you guys go. Johnny Russell, new addition for Real Salt Lake, joining us here on the RSL Show. Johnny, again, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Again, I've seen more people have positive reactions to this signing, and so I'm sure it'll take no time for you to win over this fan base. And I hope that the club continues to treat you well, man.
No, they have, and I appreciate you guys for taking the time.
All right, there you go, Johnny Russell. What a guy, man. A lot cooler than a lot cooler than I thought, man.
Way cooler than I thought, and that made me so happy.
How weird was that, though, man? Last season we're talking about Johnny Russell with Sporting Kansas City, and now he's here.
We should have told him. We should have told him when we were done recording that we were joking earlier this season that he'd end up at RSL.
Oh, we should have.
Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot about that. That would have been fun to bring up.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's here, and I'm assuming, and I hope that he's able to get some sort of a debut against Vancouver on Saturday. It sounds like he's up for it, but we'll see, man. I'm excited to see him on the pitch.
I am too. I really am. I obviously absolutely hated it, threw up in my mouth first time I saw it, but it makes sense. When we really kind of broke it down, the move makes a lot of sense. So
I think there's still questions for me, right? How much when you think of a winger, when you think of someone who's playing on the wings, running up and down the sideline, especially the way that Real Salt Lake play, we talk about it with Catranis a little bit and Junka, and that difference where Junka doesn't have the speed. Junka doesn't have and there's no denying, Johnny Russell has the speed, but how much gas is left in the tank for Johnny Russell? And I think that's the thing I'm
20
most
minutes a night, and I'm happy.
That's the thing I'm most looking forward to seeing him on the field for, is just to see how much truly can he bring to an attack who up to this season has struggled.
And honestly, the nicest part, he can play on the left, he can play on the right, and he can play in the middle. So it's not like we're stuck with a right winger, right? Or a left winger. We can plug and play him anywhere. And I think that's one of the bigger upsides to it.
Also excited to hear him say that he's excited and looking forward to playing with Luna, man.
I know. I mean, how could you not be, though?
I can't wait to see that link up.
He's magical.
I can't wait to see that. He is, man.
He's not a kid anymore. You know what else I noticed on Saturday? I'm watching Luna play.
He's not a kid.
I'm like, he's turned into a man. Like, you can tell, like, same for Anelli and some of these other guys. We saw him come in young, baby-faced, smaller, weaker, right? And they just are kind of like sprouting in front of us. And now Luna's this tough-looking guy, and he's got some muscle on him. And you know what I mean? It's just kind of fun to see. I love it.
I mean, and the same thing can be said about Gozo, because I remember looking at him last year, man. I was just like, he's got a little bit to go before he's physically ready to play in Major League Soccer. But it seemed like he hit some sort of growth spurt over the winter, man, or something, because he's a lot taller, and two, he's a lot better. He seems like he's a lot better now suited physically for Major League Soccer play. I mean, he still has room to grow, obviously, but even just looking at him sprout has been awesome.
Yeah, all of them really.
Yeah.
I mean, same could be said for Justin Glad. He came in as a 16-year-old.
Yeah, man.
He was a full-fledged man. It's wild. It's wild. Making me feel old suddenly. Okay, let's wrap this up.
All right, Josh. Anything else you want to add before we wrap this one up, man?
No, sir. Trap game, I guess.
RSL taking on Vancouver in Vancouver, Saturday, 7:30 p.m. kick. Catch that on Apple TV, MLS Season Pass. And with that, we'll conclude today's edition of the RSL Show on the KSL Sports Network. Don't forget to go like, don't forget to go subscribe, don't forget to go follow, don't forget to go do what you have to do to follow the RSL Show for the best RSL content. We'll talk to you guys next week after this Vancouver game.